Interestingly, Adrian mentioned another Victorian, Mary Seacole. Now, she is someone I've heard a little bit about. On London's South Bank stands the very first statue of a named black woman in the UK.
Wow, wow, wow. Now that is a statue, isn't it?
Mary Seacole is a recommended historical figure on the primary school national curriculum.
Now, I know the name Mary Seacole, and here it is, the statue that I've never ever seen before, even though I've literally walked past her a million times. This is a woman who means business. She's striding forward. She's got a little bag over her shoulder. I want to know her story.
So I've come to meet author and historian Jane Robinson to find out why there was something about Mary.
Jane, I'm so excited to meet you.
Well, I'm really glad because she deserves to be much, much better known. She was such a huge person in so many ways. She was born in Jamaica in 1805.
Yeah.
She was the daughter of a Scottish army officer who was stationed in Kingston.
Wow.
Her mum was the local doctress.
So already I'm getting connections to my own family. So my mum was a nurse.
Oh, right.
Born in Jamaica. My dad was in Kingston.
Wow.
So straight away I'm feeling like I'm connected to this woman.
Yeah.
Who I don't know.
There are 2 known photographs of Mary Seacole. Look at this. She's in her early 70s.
She looks amazing. She's got her little badges on as well.
Her medals from the Crimea. She loved being the centre of attention. She loved the
I
spotlight.
don't know anyone like that.
When she heard of the outbreak of the Crimean War, she thought, I need to go and help my boys. She'd heard of Florence Nightingale, and she thought, as a healer, I am the perfect candidate to go and nurse. And she describes her feelings when she's turned down. Would you like to read what she feels?
Yes, please. Is this the first edition?
This is the first edition, 1857. She was one of the first Afro-Caribbean women to write an autobiography.
Doubts and suspicions arose in my heart for the first and last time, thank heaven. Was it possible that American prejudices against colour had some root here? Did these ladies shrink from accepting my aid because my blood flowed beneath a somewhat duskier skin than theirs? It's just like so unfair, isn't it?
Well, that brings home to you the level of prejudice that she overcame.
She was a warrior.
She was a warrior, you're right. But she was so buoyant, naturally, that she came up with an alternative plan. She packed up a huge medicine chest before she left London, and she decided that the thing to do would be to open a hotel just behind the front lines of the Crimea and then get on with treating the wounded.
Amazing.
She gathered together bits of wood, odd bricks, built herself the British Hotel. She had a restaurant where the officers and the men could come and enjoy themselves. She'd have a shop where they could buy little comforts. And, of course, she would have a clinic where she could treat them. And there were thousands of them, thousands and thousands.
I mean, it takes a lot of guts to do something like that, doesn't it?
It takes a huge amount of guts. It would take a lot of guts now. But then, I mean, imagine, women were not supposed to speak until spoken to, and yet she did it.
Thank you for bringing her to life.
It's a great pleasure. She's a friend of mine. I love telling people about her.
She's a friend of mine now. I want to read this.
I think you should.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have licked it. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm feeling inspired by Mary's story. A strong, proactive and caring woman who refused to let the constraints of Victorian society hold her back. And I found out that Jane wasn't the only person passionate about keeping Mary's legacy alive.
So how long have you been doing this walk, girls?
Next year will be our 40th anniversary.
This group of wonderful women are members of the Mary Seacole Memorial Association. They make an annual pilgrimage to Mary's grave to share stories and sing songs.
What do you love about Mary Seacole? What was it that inspired you, lovely ladies?
Mary was age 50 when she went to the Crimea. She was 50 years old, and she went on horseback into the battlefield among the dying soldiers, and they called her Mother Seacole. She wouldn't be put off. She wanted to go, and she did it on her own steam.
She was literally on the front line, wasn't she?
She was there, yes. She was brave enough to be there with them.
Can you imagine going out into the Crimea, into the battlefield when the guns were flying? She would die, and the soldiers would cover her to shield her from getting hurt. That's the love they gave back to her.
She really was a model of what a real nurse is today.
One of my great-grandchildren, she came home from school one day and she said, the teachers were telling us about Florence Nightingale. And then she asked her teacher, can she go to see the headmistress? And she said to the headmistress, you need to tell us about Mary Seacole.
Did she? Love that. I know you're still a nurse in the NHS now, aren't you, Charmaine?
I came into nursing to care for people, and I think Mary gave us that shining example, that light. I think in COVID now, we are very worried, but we're still going out there and we're still working.
Yeah.
The qualities she had, like courage, commitment, caring, compassion, is part of being a nurse.
Today has shown just how much Mary Seacole was absolutely loved. And the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. I'm so happy that I had the chance to be here and sing for Mary and think about Mary. And I love how they're still carrying Mary Seacole's values in their own life. They're passing on these stories to the children, keeping this woman's legacy and name alive. Here we go. When the roll is called up yonder, when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. Oh. Amen. I found today really quite humbling. It was lovely.
We love you.